Let's kick off with Ukraine. Another kind of whirlwind week there. It looks as if that referendum is going to be, in air quotes, approved today. So to update us on your most recent thinking on where this is headed.
Yeah, JT, I talked about three things. One, the annexation apparently has been approved. Mr. Putin may be giving a speech as we're on this call, formally bringing them into the Russian Federation. There's going to be a celebration on Red Square, I'm sure. And this will then be followed by an endorsement by the Russian Duma and the federal court. Obviously, this is important because in their eyes, in Putin's eyes, this makes these four provinces, by the way, they don't control all the territory of the four provinces they're seizing, Russian territory, and therefore, you might say, reinforces the threat he's made to defend the territorial integrity of Russia by all means, to include nuclear weapons. In a very strange way, after 7 months, now the Russians will be claiming soon that they are being invaded as Ukrainian forces still make progress in these particular four areas. I don't think that, I think the probability of him resorting to nuclear weapons is low, but I think we need to stress that it's certainly not zero as this war goes on. Second, of course, were the attacks on the Nord Stream pipeline, very important, unclear who actually perpetrated those attacks. NATO has identified it as sabotage. I still think most likely it was, in fact, the Russians in an effort to use hybrid warfare and press the energy weapon, if you will. And he is also, of course, thinking that his biggest ally is old man winter. And if I can get this war to winter, put more pressure on energy sectors across Europe, that'll result in social unrest and perhaps the Europeans then pressing the Ukrainians to negotiate in a fashion that he would find attractive. We have seen big demonstrations in the Czech Republic. We've seen demonstrations in the last day or so in France. And I would point out that the German inflation rate just hit double digits for the first time in about a decade or so.
No shortage of issues today, Colonel. Italy and a new government headed by a right-wing government headed by Meloni here. A lot of buzz on from all different facets of this. What I think we're most concerned about is NATO and of course support for Ukraine and the EU. What are you seeing here?
There is cause for concern. We've got a new right-wing government in Italy. We've got a new right-wing government in Sweden, by the way, which will soon become a formal member of NATO as well. As far as the new government in Italy goes, again, like all Italian governments, it's a coalition. She will be prime minister. She has been very outspoken during the campaign of supporting NATO policy with respect to supporting Ukraine. But it is of concern because in that coalition, of course, are two other right-wing parties, one headed by a guy named Salvini, who used to wear T-shirts with Putin's picture on it, and the other Silvio Berlusconi, who always said that he was one of Putin's closest friends. That being said, I think the Italian political infrastructure is restrained from bold moves because they know, for example, they are closely tied to the subsidies and whatever they are provided by the European Union. And the European Union has quietly been very outspoken about deviations from what is European Union policy could put those particular subsidies in jeopardy, which would overburden already a very difficult economic situation in Italy. Of course, at the same time, we're watching what the Congress is going to do. Certainly, they've not passed the budget. The NDAA should be voted on, I think, in early October before they go to recess. And the outlines of spending will be interesting. I think we'll see a budget of somewhere around $850 billion for defense. How that's appropriated then in the appropriations part will be interesting to watch. And also whether or not the Biden administration soon announces a national security strategy. Obviously, strategy supposedly pushing budgeting, but not the case right now.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.